Come on!
The world's at peace, all's well. The world's at peace.
Quê. Where?
Need a chocobo? You old folks are out of luck.
Old folks?
We don't have any chocobos. The ones outside belong to another customer. You know, if you really want a chocobo, why don't you go catch one in the wild? Want to know about wild chocobos? Well then, shall we get down to business? If you buy now, I'll sell one chocobo lure for 2,000 gil. So how about it? Thanks. It wouldn't hurt to buy some greens either. That reminds me, how soon a chocobo will finish eating depends on the type you feed it.
My brother Choco Billy swindled you, didn't he? Well, please try not to be mad at him, or my grandpa. It's been like this since Mom and Dad died. Welcome! Here's a good tip. Little white chocobos love having their necks tickled, but if you tickle them someplace they don't like, they'll flip out, so be careful.
How to ride a chocobo. Press the cancel button to get off. Chocobos will escape whenever a player dismounts.
Did Sephiroth do this?
Hold it.
Now there's a face I didn't care to see.
You know who I am? Well then, this won't take long. It's hard to explain what the Turks do exactly.
Abducting people?
To put it negatively, you could say that. But there's much more to it these days.
Sir? I've noticed that you don't like speeches. Please, allow me.
Thanks.
I'm Elena, the newest member of the Turks. Thanks to what you did to Reno, we're short-handed. Although I guess that's why I was accepted into the Turks. In any case, our orders are to determine where Sephiroth is going and to make your life difficult every step of the way. Hang on, it's the other way around. You're the ones getting in our way!
Elena, you've said more than enough.
Mr. Sung?
They don't need to know our business.
Sorry, sir.
I've already assigned you to another mission. Go. Report back as instructed.
Yes, of course. Very well. Rude and I will track Sephiroth. We're heading to Junon's harbor.
Elena, do you have a hearing problem?
Go! Fuck. I'm sorry.
Now go. Don't let Sephiroth get away.
Yes, sir.
Reno sends his warm regards. He's hoping to meet you again after the wounds heal up. Now that you're best friends, he wants to share his new weapon with you all.
Well, Aerith, it's been a while. Now that Sephiroth's reappeared, as far as Shinra's concerned, you're no longer a priority.
What are you saying? That I should be grateful to Sephiroth?
No. Only that we'll be seeing less of each other from now on. Take care of yourself.
Strange, hearing that from you.
I would very much appreciate it if you'd all stay out of Shinra's way.
Can you handle this?
Our people have been in armed struggle for a long time. We've taken root here and vowed to keep on fighting. Whether you can spare the time, please, come lend us a hand. We don't want to be unreasonable. If you're busy with something, why don't you tend to that first?
I get.
Great! Come on up and we'll brief you.
not every day you see people climbing up here. Huh? What's wrong with your eyes? Sorry. Listen, this is about to turn into a battlefield with Shinra. You best go back if you don't want to get involved.
What do you mean, a battlefield?
Shinra.
Looks like you're also having problems with them. You came here after all. Will you hear what I have to say? Did you notice anything on the top of this mountain?
A huge bird?
A reactor. And a condor. Well spotted. Yes, it's a reactor and a condor. It seems Shinra can't abide having a condor on top of the reactor.
Why?
I see no reason why that would be. It doesn't make any sense.
It seems there's some sort of special materia in the reactor. And because there's a condor in the way, Shinra have rushed their army here to deal with it. The army's objective is to eliminate the condor and those living here. The condor is forming an egg, but only lays one every few years. We want to protect them both from Shinra.
New life, huh?
We have to protect the condor's egg.
So, in order to save the egg, we'll have to defend the reactor?
The thing is, we don't have the resources to fight Shinra directly. That's why we hired mercenaries to help us. As a sponsor, you can assist us with money or by fighting alongside us. What do you think? Will you join us in our struggle?
Cloud, I think we should help them.
Cloud, you decide what we should do.
Let's do our best.
Indeed, we shall lend a hand.
Should we rest?
Thanks for accepting. The enemy's climbing the mountain. The target, the Mako reactor. To counter them, we set up traps and hire mercenaries. That's about all there is to it. Sadly, the village is broke. We want to fight, but without the funds, we haven't got a prayer. Costs around 400 gil to hire one mercenary. So hiring 20 mercenaries can cost as much as 8,000. To cut a long story short, we need your money to hire mercenaries, buy and set the traps, and to give out orders.
If you can't spare the time, we'd sure appreciate the funds instead. The more money we receive, the better equipped we'll be to deal with Shinra.
We know we're asking a hell of a lot. We've sent our loved ones to another village and stayed behind to face the fire. Anyway, let's get right to it. If the enemy reaches this shack, you'll have to fend them off yourself in direct combat. Now, if you lose once or twice, it won't be the end of the world. But if you keep on losing, it'll get rough. Do you have any questions? Hey, it looks like you got here just as they started their climb. There aren't too many. Can you handle it? Are you ready?
Okay, ready.
Hey, don't you think you're a little short? We need more gil. Are you ready?
Okay.
Hey, don't you... Are you ready for this?
Get off your ass.
Should we wrap?
I've gotten him to one shot so many times. Right towards the end, it feels like he can just not stop attacking, just forever.
Alright, you in?
No, I'm gonna finish something. I hate that message. The timing on that also seems to be different every time, which I don't appreciate.